NFL schedule got released yesterday as of recording this,
That's my air
and
horns.
dude, the schedule. A couple of these weeks are great. Week 1 specifically is like the most insane week 1, I feel like, and it was pretty exciting to look over this again. I told you like I had a ton of games I was looking forward to. I put like 30 games down that I was like, oh, this could be interesting. This could be interesting. This could be interesting. This could be interesting. So I do have my top 10. I have a couple of honorable mentions too. I don't know if you have any. Again, I told you I had a ton, so I'm not sure if you had a couple that didn't make your top 10, but you were like, oh man, this almost made it in.
Well, you asked me how I wanted to do this, and I originally wanted to go, all right, let's pick the best game week by week. But then I
Okay.
sat down to look at week 1, and I was like, oh, fuck, Ravens, Chiefs, Packers, Eagles, 49ers, Jets. Like, that's not going to work. I'm not axing
Right.
these great games. So,
Yep. Absolutely. So, a couple of honorable mentions, if you don't have any, is I have the just looking down my list, I have Ravens at Cowboys week 3. I have Commanders at Bucks week 1, and that's just Jaden Daniels his debut. Bears versus Titans week 1, that's Caleb Williams' debut. Texans at Chiefs week 16. I could see that being huge for seeding. And then my number 11 is Eagles versus Packers week 1. So I think that one's going to be big as well for setting the tone for the rest of the years for both of those teams.
all right, perfect. So none of my top 10 landed on this list. And just to clear this, I did not take in the weeks into consideration. I didn't take any of this into consideration. I sat this down as Drew Taylor sitting his fat ass on his couch and he wants to watch enjoyable football. What are the top 10 games that if I could request the time to sit on my couch and watch, which games would those be? Outside of obviously all the 49ers games.
Right. Okay. Drew, do you want to tell me your 10 through 6? And then we can, I could say, oh, I have those ones in the same spots. And then we could kind of just discuss a couple of them. So 10 through 6, go ahead.
Okay. Number 10, Falcons at Vikings. I think this one is obvious. You got Kirk Cousins against the Minnesota Vikings. Duh.
Okay.
I think this is, in terms of sitting down and watching this game, I think this is obviously very clearly why people are going to want to watch this game.
Okay. I didn't have that one on my list.
What? It's Kirk Cousins, dog.
Yeah, I didn't have it on there.
Okay. This is the great thing about dropping it down to a top 10, and we may not have. Number 9, I got Harbaugh going to LA to face Harbaugh. That's going to be the Ravens versus the Chargers. Obviously, for the most obvious reasons, we got brother on brother here. The last time we saw it was in the Super Bowl. Fuck all of you guys. And, I'm excited to see it again. I don't think the Chargers are going to have much in the way of putting anything up against the Ravens. This might be a massacre, but it's always good to see Jim Harbaugh throw a fit on the sidelines. So I'm excited for this.
Another one I didn't have on my list.
Let's go.
Number 8.
49ers, they go east to Miami and they play the Dolphins. This could be a very high scoring game. Anytime you get the 49er Shanahan offense against each other, it seems to be fireworks. Obviously, Mike McDaniel has a ton of the 49er Shanahan concepts, but he's taken it to the next level. It's also one of the games that makes me most nervous about our schedule, and I'm very excited to see this game.
This is one that just missed my honorable mentions. I had it on there. It just wasn't in my top 10 or my honorable mentions. Yep. Number 7.
Number 7. Did you say Texans at the Jets?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
In my honorable mentions?
Yeah.
No, I said Texans at Chiefs.
Texans at Chiefs. Okay. Number 7, I got the Texans going to New York to play the Jets.
Okay. I didn't have that one in my top 10 either.
Honestly, I could have listed 10 games that all had CJ Stroud in them. So it's just, this was a way to get CJ Stroud on it. I'm not that excited to see him play the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs are going to dominate them and I don't want to see him lose. So not that great.
And number 6, let's see if we're going to have like 1 through 10 through 6 matchup maybe.
Probably not. Number 6, I got the Eagles and Bengals because you got Joe Burrow coming back against that vaunted Eagles defense with that vaunted Eagles secondary. Jalen Hurts, very, very excited to, I tried to do it differently here, trying to trying to think of what good games would be as opposed to just, you know what? My most exciting game to look forward to is the fucking 49ers smashing the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football again. You know what I mean? Like that's boring. Like I left all that shit out. So,
my number 10, which I didn't have that one in there, either, but my number 10 is the Bengals at the Chiefs. I have a bunch of Chiefs in here, a couple Cowboys games, a couple Niners games, so all super competitive games is kind of where
we've seen that game
to.
so many times.
Yeah, but this is Joe Burrow coming back against the Chiefs,
and he's gonna get smacked.
Maybe not. I think it's exciting to see.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm defending why they're not on my list.
I have another Bengals game at number 9. I have the Patriots at the Bengals because I'm really excited to see Drake May play finally, and I want to see Joe Burrow come back and what he does immediately after having all this time to recover. So I'm excited to see how much he's in form for that next game, that next week, and I'm excited to see what Drake May does with this kind of subpar offense in the very first game that he plays.
A super honorable mention on these, obviously, is going to be all those quarterbacks, their debuts, and watching them, because we spent so much time this offseason really diving deep into them and figuring them out. So honestly, anytime one of these young quarterbacks is on TV, even if it's Bo Nix, I'm going to sit down to watch him.
Yep, absolutely. My number 8 is Bears versus Packers, week 11. Both teams in full stride, trying to make it for some type of wild card. Because again, the assumption is the Lions win the division, but they're vying for the wild card spots, and that's Caleb Williams should be in full midseason form, and so should the entire Packers team. So everyone should be pretty familiar with each other. And there's always seems like a pretty good game when Bears-Packers go back and forth. And with both of them assumingly being good this year, I think it's going to be pretty exciting week 11, which they do play each other earlier. I just wanted it to be later so they're more familiar with each other going in, especially playing at Lambeau. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, and again, I didn't do the taking in the stakes or anything into it, just purely entertainment factor. So week 1 on this one is definitely one that I had circled originally. When I sat down to do this, I came up with 27 games, just so you know.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
And that's outside of like, I love football, so I sit down, I'll watch any football game. You know, like if you gave me the time, I would watch every 49ers game from start to finish, and I would watch every Cowboys game from start to finish, on top of all the other games that week that were interesting to watch. So,
yep, absolutely. My number 7 is Ravens versus Eagles, week 13. Again, just two powerhouses going at each other, and at the kind of close to the end of the season at that point, should be in full form. Hopefully no injuries at that point, but it's just two teams going at it. So I think that's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think the Eagles get smashed in that.
I hope so. My number 6 is the Lions at 49ers in week 17.
Let's go. That's my number 5. So we finally got one.
Super high stakes game to me, especially just it being a rematch. 1, being a rematch. 2, super high stakes for both teams. I think it could be exciting because it's a lot for the Lions to try to prove right before the playoffs start. Sure. I think that's huge for both teams.
So give me your number 5 since I just gave you mine.
My number 5 is Texans versus Ravens, because I think the seeding week 17 first of all, just the teams going at each other is going to be exciting. Second of all, the seeding for that at the end of the year, I think is going to be really, really big.
All right. So I'll give you 4-3-2, and then all right. So number 4, sorry, I got the Chiefs at Niners. I mean, come on, duh. Super Bowl rematch. Everybody's going to be looking forward to that.
Yep.
Number 2, I got the Chiefs at Bills, and I'm sorry, number 3, I got the Chiefs at Bills. Kind of broke my own conventional wisdom here, but let's go. It's the Chiefs and Bills. We got to be excited about that. And number 2, my second most exciting game to watch this season is going to be some Texas on Texas crime when Houston plays the Dallas Cowboys.
It was really close to my honorable mentions. Yeah, it was really close. Yeah, I think that I got really close. So it was, obviously first time I went through the Cowboys schedule. That was the first thing I did, and that was like the second game I put on there. So yeah, I think that's going to be pretty exciting, especially not just because it's Texas versus Texas, but then you have C.J. Stroud versus Micah Parsons, and then being buddies now, and I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to it, so it's going to be pretty exciting. My number 4 is Week 1 Ravens at Chiefs.
Yep.
Huge tone setter for the entire season for both teams. Yeah, so that one's pretty obvious. My number 3 is the 49ers versus the Chiefs.
Yes.
My number 2 is the Cowboys at the 49ers.
Does it make you sad? Does it make you sad that I didn't even put that on my list?
No, not at all. I think it's I put it on there. I mean, there's a part of me where it's like, oh, I might go to the game, maybe. Like I might want to go to that. So there's part of that in me, but also it's always cool to watch it, and there's the banter between us two, and it's just kind of the stacked on top. For some people, it's not that exciting. For others, I'm like, oh yeah, it's always the banter. It's maybe going to go watch the game. It's always like this back and forth thing. So it's bragging rights for the entire year going forward into the playoffs. Like that's what the game is basically staked on.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we're not at the game, then we'll probably be sitting on this couch right here watching the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of a bummer if your dad is on the cruise and he can't go. That might take a little bit out of it. But
yeah.
Okay, so give me your number 1 first, because I gave you 2 through 10, and I guarantee you we don't have the same number 1.
Probably not. I like the high stakes games for seeding. So my number 1 is the Cowboys versus the Eagles week 17.
That's going to be a great game.
Yeah. That's going to be a great game. Those late games between the Cowboys and the Eagles are really competitive, and they're always really close, and they always have some type of massive domino effect behind us. So
I'm the absolute opposite of what you just picked.
Okay, wait. Give me what 2 divisions are these teams a part of? If it's that left field,
it's not really out of left field.
Okay,
it's NFC versus the AFC, and it's week 1.
AFC versus NFC, and it's week 1.
Yep.
Is it 49ers Jets?
It sure is. Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it is.
Aaron Rodgers return week 1, coming out against the vaunted 49ers defense. I'm not even saying this as a 49er fan. I'm seeing this as Aaron Rodgers' legacy. Like, he's going to come out. They've done all this stuff this offseason to protect him. 49ers defense is going to be flying around. He's coming off an injury. Super fucking exciting. I think honestly the ratings on this Monday Night Football game are going to be bonanzas.
You said Monday night?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. We're talking about this, and honestly, when we get closer, because I feel like this is going to be like a couple of week thing once we talk about it initially, but once we get close to the season, right before the season starts, like predicting like records for everybody is going to be pretty exciting. So we're talking about this now, but it's definitely going to come back up when we're predicting records for everybody. I'm going to have to put together a flow chart of who plays who.
And the 49ers got fucked once again. They got like the 4th most miles traveled. They're facing 4 teams coming off their bye. And then the team that they finally get, they play on Thursday Night Football. So the next week should be an advantage for them, right? Because they got all that time off. No, because it's the fucking Chiefs. And guess what? The Chiefs get to play the 49ers off their bye. The Chiefs get to take their bye and then play the 49ers. Fucking bullshit. Might want to edit that part out for all the profanity. Sorry.
No, it's okay. How many times?
Don't you remember me? I was pissed off about this last year. We had to fly across the country, play Cleveland in the sopping wet rain at 10 a.m. and they came off their bye. How is that shit fair? How do we got to go on the road at 10 a.m. and play a team off their bye? That doesn't make no sense.
Yep.
Losing to the Browns. I mean, frankly, regular season games really don't matter. They're completely overrated in terms of what the hell happens in the playoffs. But still, that shit's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of losing to the Chiefs.
It's okay. I'm tired of losing to the Niners. So, somewhere in the same basket. All right. Well, that is our that's our top 10 games that we're looking forward to most this upcoming season. Drew, that is the end of the podcast. Anything to end it off for the people?
Yeah. I have a thought.
Okay.
Let me pull up my thought.
Okay.
Where is it? Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm on the I know this is going to be, if any of you guys have tuned in lately, I'm on the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals bandwagon, just so everybody knows.
We can
I
end
still
it
don't like to
there.
watch Luka play, but Kyrie is on a different level right now.
Yeah, we can end it there. I don't want to talk about that. Fuck them. All the way.
You know what's crazy is the Cavaliers were kicking y'all's ass.
Mhm.
You didn't even bother to. You must have been stressed because you didn't even respond to my text message. But
Oh, and then once we got to like the fourth
I
quarter,
was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And then Tatum was just like, "No, we're done." Horford was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, we're done."
I honestly like barely tuned into the fourth quarter after we kind of pulled away a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well, like game's pretty much over at this point, and I like that's how much the game doesn't matter to me because I know we're gonna win. Is I knew once we pulled away a little bit, I'm like, oh shit, like Cardinals game's on, and I turned the channel, and then we fucking lost 2-7, so it didn't fucking matter anyway. So.
Oh yeah, I texted Elena on her way home yesterday. I was like, "Do you want to watch basketball or baseball?" And she's like, "Who's playing?" And then I was like, "All right, this is the NBA game that's going on, and the Giants are playing the Dodgers." She's like, "Oh, let's watch the Giants Dodgers." And I'm like, "Oh, great." And then the Giants end up winning, so it actually
Nice.
worked out. But it's funny actually. A buddy of mine was like, he was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the game?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to go to the game." He's like, "But why?" I'm like, "Because who the fuck wants to drive 6 hours round trip and deal with all that bullshit to watch us get smashed by the Dodgers? I'm not interested." When I go to games, the 49ers Cowboys games are the only games I ever go to where like the outcome is not like predetermined before I go. If I'm going to a Kings game, which is a little different because it's 20 minutes away, but if I'm going to the games that I've gone to in the past 49ers game, we played the Commanders on Christmas Eve and we smashed them. We played the Giants last year on Thursday Night Football. We smashed them. Those are the games I like to go to. I don't want to go to no fucking Kings Celtics game and watch them lose by 30. That's just not fun. And I'm still making the payments on those damn tickets. It's like that shit. The NBA season is over. The NBA season is over, and I'm still making payments on those goddamn Celtics tickets. It's just bullshit. So yeah, that's how I feel. I think the 49ers should have been scheduled to face all the worst teams in the league this year. That way I could go to a bunch of games. Everyone's like, hey, we should go to the Ravens game on Christmas. I ain't going to no Ravens game on Christmas last year. The Ravens are going to smash the Niners. This is what always happens. Primetime game, primetime day, they're going to lose. And it won't make it doesn't matter at all for the playoffs. We'll just lose because that's what happens. That's probably what it feels like to be a Cowboys fan a little bit.
Yeah, well, fuck you.